Hello, everyone. This is Jose Youngs with MMAfighting.com. We are live on the scene at the UFC 247 post-fight press conference inside the Toyota Center in Houston, Texas. Just moments ago, we witnessed Jon Jones successfully defend his light heavyweight championship of the world with a unanimous decision win over Dominic Reyes. Very controversial. A lot of people here in the media room felt Dominic Reyes had done enough to pull off a 3-2 decision win. I'm curious what you all thought. Let us know in the YouTube comment section. I'll be monitoring this. No fighter is left yet. No fighter has come out yet, so I'll be filling time with you lovely folks. As a lot of media members right now are talking specifically about the one judge who gave Jon Jones 4 rounds to 1, which was one of the most controversial decisions of the night. There's an argument for 3-2 Jones. Most people seem to agree that round 3 could have gone either way. Dominic Reyes clearly won rounds 1 and 2. Jon Jones took rounds 4 and 5. But rounds 3 seems the deciding factor on this one. If I spot anyone backstage here in the media room, I'll get a few words, but the words from our media, my fellow media members, are rather confused at that 4-1 scorecard. I don't know if you can hear. A lot of us expected to hear and knew, but and still Jon Jones defends his light heavyweight championship of the world. I'm reading it. I have your YouTube comments out. I'm seeing a lot of people think Dominic Reyes outstruck Jon. A lot of people are saying Jon controlled rounds 3, 4, 5. I'm seeing a lot of robbery. If you thought it was a robbery, just write robbery. If you agreed with the decision, just write the word agree. A lot of people saying Reyes definitely won. I'll get a few words with cameraman extraordinaire Casey Leydon of all the media people back here, and Oscar Willis of the Mac Life. Of all the media people back here, I think Casey Leydon's maybe not the most vocal, but I can see the steam leaving his shoulders.
I don't know, he's been pretty vocal.
Well, I wasn't back here. I was octagon side. So Casey, I know you don't seem to agree with the scorecards.
I thought it was pretty clear. 1-2-3 Reyes. I think that's gonna be the. What was the whole the 1-2-5 Diaz? Yeah, I think this is 1-2-3 Reyes. I think that's gonna be the new meme.
Also one. We also saw a lot of 1-2-5 Santos. So this is back-to-back decision wins for Jon Jones, where a lot of fans think that Jon Jones should not be the light heavyweight championship. This one more so than the last one.
Yeah, this one more so than the last one, but I've got to say, I'm starting to think in a fight that close, Jon Jones will never lose a decision. I feel like his reputation will just, especially if you have inexperienced judges like you do in this fucking place, they're just going to assume like any swing round is Jon's, you know?
Yeah, actually, after the Santos fight, I didn't watch it as close as I should have because I was doing other stuff, but I actually scored the fight for Santos too, but I didn't really cry afterward because well, I didn't watch that one round as close as I should, but this fight I was like locked on, and I thought 1-2-3 were pretty clear Reyes.
Well, throughout, I think judging was kind of a theme of this. Like Andre Ewell had a weird scorecard. I don't know if you saw like one judge gave James Krause. They said James Krause lost the first round and then he won the third round, even though it was very clearly.
That was clearly bad.
It was horrible, and it was the same judge that gave Yoel I think it was like a 30-27 Yoel. So it was a lot of weird judging tonight, but
where's the most polite way to say that, right?
A lot of dumbass judging.
Yeah, I think that's the correct term. Yeah.
But I'm gonna keep walking around.
He has an interesting.
He does. I'll try to get a few words with a few other people back here. But right now, I'm looking through your comments. I'm seeing a lot of robberies. Robbery, robbed, robbery. Reyes won, 1-2-3, robbery, SMH, WWE, UFC, who knows, 1-2-3 Reyes, robbed. To be the champ, you have to beat the champ. Yeah, that tends to be an agreement, but stop making excuses for Jon. Jon Jones lost, robbery. So I'm seeing a lot of robberies. I'm not seeing a lot of people agree that Dominic Reyes lost that fight. But, of course, more did happen tonight. Valentina Shevchenko successfully defended her flyweight championship of the world with a TKO over Khalid Chookagian. Justin Tafa picked up his first UFC win with a knockout of Juan Adams. Dan Ige continues his winning way with the decision win over Mirsad Bektik. And, of course, Derrick Lewis picks up the decision win over Ilir Latifi. But all of that seems to be an afterthought, as many people seem to agree that we should not be seeing an and still champion in Jon Jones. What about you guys? Would you like to see an immediate rematch between these two, considering it was so controversial? I'm seeing a lot of Reyes 1, 2, 3. If you think we should have an immediate rematch, just write immediate rematch, or just write rematch, and I'll know. Because right now, it's pretty clear. Walk around, see if we can get anyone else. We got a lot of people. Seeing a lot of people agreeing with me, giving me the 1, 2, 3, right? 1, 2, 3. Seeing rematch. I'm seeing a lot of rematches. If you want to see the rematch, just write rematch. If you think it was a robbery, write robbery. If you think Jon Jones won, write Jones won. Rematch. Rematch for days. I'm seeing a lot of rematches. I'm going to walk over to Alex Savas, another camera woman extraordinaire. Alex, are you in agreement with Casey Leydon? 1, 2, 3 Reyes?
Yeah, I had a 3-2 Reyes, so I'm not particularly happy about that, but it is what it is, as they say.
Would you like to see an immediate rematch between these two? Our YouTube comment section seems to be pretty livid at the decision, and a lot of people are calling for the rematch right now.
Oh, absolutely. I don't think anybody else even comes close to the performance that Reyes just did, but I am worried that he won't perform as well in the rematch, but take that risk, I guess.
Well, there you have it, folks. So far, we're 2 for 2 on people, 3 for 3 on people who think Reyes won back here. But of course, my name is Jose Youngs. We're live on the scene at the UFC 247 post-fight press conference inside the Toyota Center in Houston, Texas. So far, Casey Leydon believes Jon Jones lost. Alex Savas believes Jon Jones lost, and of course, Oscar Willis believes Jon Jones lost. And of course, it's all up for debate. Oscar Willis stopping by to join us again as he faces some popcorn.
What?
As he faces some popcorn, as they say over here stateside.
I thought you were calling me fat. I mean, I'm going gym now, innit?
Are you eating your sorrows away after the scorecards, Oscar?
I don't take it that serious, to be honest, mate.
He said it, not me. What about, I'll ask you this. I asked our YouTube audience, a lot of people are saying robbery. I asked, would people want to see a rematch?
I do not believe Jon Jones is going to give him a rematch.
I don't either, but money talks, right?
Fuck, now look at the comments. Everyone's saying robbed.
Everyone is saying robbed. Everyone's saying
I agree.
3-2. I wrote, if you believe it was a robbery, write robbery. If you believe Jon Jones won, write Jon Jones won. Jones won, robbed, robbery. I said write rematch if you want a rematch. Got a lot of rematches.
Stop talking, also. You fucking stop talking.
Wow.
I think that Israel Adesanya fight is really interesting now.
Yeah, no kidding. That's not even on my mind at this point. That was truly baffling to me. Talk about all night though. Weird scorecards, huh? I think one judge said James Krause lost the first round and won the third round.
Yeah, and he's the one who had like the errant 30-27 card.
On the Andre Ewell fight, right?
Yeah. Rogan, and Cruz and Anik were like shitting on him after the.
Yeah, because was he the one that was like not watching the fights? Something crazy like that?
I don't know. It's Mike Bond from MMA Junkie said that wasn't a judge. That was actually someone else. But he's an idiot, whoever he is.
Well, we're getting a lot of rematches. We're getting a lot of robbed. We're getting a lot of rigged. We're getting at a WWE question mark. Izzy eats his lunch. Jones won rounds 4 and 5. Jones won. Terrible judging.
I'd like to know the fans' opinion on what did you think of Joe Rogan's commentary, because I felt he was focused too much on Dominic Reyes is tired, and never addressed the fact that actually Dom could have been up 3 rounds. Write Joe Rogan's commentary if you thought it was shit.
Well, I didn't hear any of it, so this is really the first I'm hearing on the scorecards. I mean, I remember in Edmonton he was pretty weird during that Cyborg fight. I've been on record many times that he's been on the decline, but I didn't hear what was going on tonight.
I think he just fixates on a narrative of the fight and can't shift off it.
Yeah, seems to be the trend.
They keep telling me to shut up.
Where? I don't see anyone telling you to shut up.
I see all of you.
Someone wrote Crash Bandicoot 1. That's funny. 3 Blind Mice, robbery, UFC is rigged. Again, my name is Jose Youngs. We're here live on the scene. UFC 247 post-fight press conference in Houston, Texas.
There you go, see commentary.
Oscar Willis of the Mac Life is sitting beside me, facing a bunch of popcorn. To beat the champ, you got to beat the champ. Rough crowd. Let's see who else we can chat with. A lot of media members are. A lot of media members doing their jobs here as I try and get a few words, but everyone seems to be rather confused at those scorecards. A lot of people saying, one person said Reyes quit. I don't agree with that. I had it. That was Reyes' fight, boxing judge. Jose ate the last piece of cake. No cake. Reyes for sure. UFC is rigged again. My name is Jose Youngs of MMAfighting.com. We're here live on the scene of the UFC 247 post-fight press conference in Houston, Texas. Just moments ago, Jon Jones successfully defended his UFC light heavyweight championship with a unanimous decision win over Dominic Reyes. Many people here in the media member and online and in the audience felt Dominic Reyes had done enough to dethrone Jon Jones. Many people are writing 3-2 Reyes. 2 of the judges had it 3-2 Jones, and 1 judge actually had it 4-1 Jones. But many media members back here seem to be all in agreement that Jones winning was not the right call. What did you guys think? Someone wrote draw. I don't agree with that. If you think it was a robbery and Reyes won, write robbery and tell me which rounds you think he won. All 6,786 of you. Reyes 1, 2, 3. Jones 4 and 5. Jones 4 and 5. Reyes 1, 2, 3. Reyes 3-2. Reyes 3-2. Reyes, 3-2 John, 3-2 Reyes, 3-2 Reyes. But it seems to be a lot of 3-2. I seem to think that from watching Octagon side, that round 3 was pretty narrow. Could have gone either way. Robbery, 1, 2, 3 Reyes, 1, 2, 3 Reyes, 1, 2, 3 Reyes. That round 3 seems to be the deciding factor. Many people are either writing 1, 2, 3 Reyes or 3, 4, 5 Jones. But the vast majority, I would probably say 90% of you all are writing 1, 2, 3 Reyes. Yeah. Joining me again is Alex Savs, my partner in crime this week. So I'm going through the YouTube comments right now. I asked them if they thought it was a robbery and what rounds they scored. I would probably say 90% of these, maybe even more, 95% of these, our audience is saying robbery, 1, 2, 3 Reyes. Seems to be that round 3 was the 50-50 round.
Yeah, I mean, I can see why people would say 3-2 Jones. I think the judges who gave him 4 rounds, there's just no way. I mean, I would love to hear the justification on that. Yeah, look at this, rigged, all for the money. Yeah. That's a real shame. You know, that this is what causes people to lose faith in their own sport.
And I seem to agree with Oscar Willis. I asked, would he want to see the rematch? He goes, there's no way John gives him the rematch. There's no money. I mean, money talks, but I don't think John wants to go through that again.
Yeah, I agree. If it's up to John, there's no way. And also, I think we know Dana White doesn't want to see John Jones lose either, so why would he make the rematch? And no one else is going to come close to doing what Dominic Reyes did tonight. So
Someone says octagon control and takedowns equal John wins. Octagon control is a fictional stat, my friend. Robbed. 3-2 Jones, didn't matter. Judge did 4-1. Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's nothing we can do about it now, but we can still disagree. But other things happened on this fight card instead of John Jones win. Valentina Shevchenko just successfully defended her flyweight crown with a TKO over Katlyn Chukagian in a fight that wasn't close. If I should say, I think Valentina really did kind of pitch a shutout for those few rounds. So rather than ask you what you thought of her performance, I'll ask: is there anyone out there who can even test the UFC flyweight champion of the world?
I don't think so. Not right now. Jessica I's calling for a second chance on Twitter right now. I don't see that fight going very well for her either, but I don't know who else. Roxy might be able to go the distance with her, but I don't think that the decision ends in her favor either. So I think we're going to see a lot more Valentina.
I think some of the more logical ones coming up, we could have Joanne Calderwood coming off the big win over Andrea Lee. It seems Roxy and Lauren Murphy are trying to make a fight with one another. It's all good fun, though, on Twitter. So maybe Joanne Calderwood, she's pretty marketable. She's from Scotland. They can stick that on a European or a Moscow card like they want to do. But I tend to agree with you. I don't think there's anyone out there right now outside of bantamweight champion Amanda Nunes says who could possibly contend with Valentina Shevchenko. But nonetheless, a lot of weird scoring on this card. Any other performances really stick out with you? I know we were back here running around a lot, getting all you lovely people some excellent hot content from UFC 247 Scrum, so go check it out after this. But any other performances stand out that you actually got to watch when you weren't working?
Yeah, I mean, my poor guy, Juan Adams. Not a great night for him, which is a real shame, but, 3 in a row losses. He's not in a great spot. I really hope the UFC doesn't make any rash decisions and cut him or anything like that. He's got a lot of fans. The people like Juan Adams. We want to see more Adams. He's good for the sport, in my opinion.
Yeah. I think what he has going for him is heavyweight. They do need heavyweights. They need young heavyweights, but it's hard to justify 3 losses in a row. Plus, what is that? Is he 5-4? Something like that? Like a couple TKO, 2 back-to-back knockout losses. But I'd like to see him get maybe one more chance. This was his first fight in the Jackson Wink camp, but yeah, not a. It was a weird night for Texas natives. Florida MMA didn't have the greatest night. Their own I was going to say Brandon Rono. Alex Rono came up short. I'm trying to see if anyone's popping out. Alex Rono came up short. Juan Adams came up short. But Derrick Lewis came out on top. What did you think of that fight? Did you agree with the decision? A lot of people seem to think Ilir Latifi won that fight too.
I didn't catch a lot of that fight, but I think, as Derrick Lewis says, he got the, what did he say, the Texas nod, the Houston nod?
Hometown cooking, as we call it.
Yeah, I mean, and I think no one was complaining because everyone wants more Derrick Lewis interviews, and he did not disappoint.
Yeah, he's like, I told you I was going to get a controversial hometown decision, but nonetheless, he did pick up another big win. I don't know who he wants to fight. It seems like a long time, you included. A lot of people want to see him fight Greg Hardy, but he said he's no longer interested in that fight. He doesn't want to give him any more shine, and apparently they have the same manager. So their manager told him to knock it off and stop trying to pick a fight with one another. Maybe rematch fight the loser of Ngannou. Jairzinho, maybe. I know Walt Harris and Alistair Overeem have a fight coming up. Maybe fight the winner of that. But there's not a shortage of opponents for Derrick Lewis to take. But I'm still going through your comments. A lot of people are saying 2 judges gave Jones rounds 2 and 3. I want to report a 9-1. I want to report a robbery. Bektik should have won. That's another close decision. A lot of split decisions on this card. Let me see. I'm pulling up the result sheets on MMAfighting.com. You can go check it out. We have all the amazing content. Andre Ewell defeated Jonathan Martinez via split decision. Lauren Murphy defeated Andrea Lee via split decision. Trevin Giles defeated James Krause by split decision. Dan Ige, Mirsad Bektik was split. And I honestly, Derrick Lewis might have been the closest one of those, all those I just named. Trevin, I read somewhere on Twitter that one judge gave Trevin Giles round 1, which is the round he found himself stuck in a rear naked choke in for about 4 minutes. And that same judge scored Andre Ewell 30-27. So not the best night for that particular judge. I can't think of it. I don't know his name off the top of my head. Lauren Murphy picked up the split decision win over Andrea Lee. Chaos Williams knocking out Alex Morono on like 13 days' notice, knocks him out in 27 seconds. Miles Johns handed his first professional defeat. Journey Newson beats Domingo Pilarte and then goes to the hospital with a possible fractured foot. So we had a lot of highs, a lot of lows on this night.
Poor James Krause too. I think we all had our hopes up for that one. Would have loved to see him pull that one off, but that
One judge did give him 2 rounds, and then speaking Youssef Zalal from Morocco, big underdog coming in. Austin Lingo was coming into this fight riding a 3-fight streak of all sub 30-second knockouts. And loses 30-27 across the board, and we were like, wow, it's going to be an interesting night. But boy, we were right, but boy, were we wrong. Okay, your chats, robbery, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, baloney. Yeah, we see you. You're writing baloney a lot. I get it. So if you think Reyes won, write Reyes and then the rounds you think he won. So a lot of people seem to think Reyes 1, 2, 3. All 11,000 of you. My name is, of course, Jose Youngs of MMAfighting.com. Standing beside me is my partner in crime for the week, Alex Savas. We are live on the scene at the UFC 247 post-fight press conference here inside the Toyota Center in Houston, Texas. I'm still keeping an eye on the door to see who comes out first. I expect we'll hear from Valentina Shevchenko, who defended her title against Count Chikagian with a TKO, got her in a crucifix and just sliced through her literally. John Jones controversially successfully defended his crown against Dominic Reyes, and I am seeing a whole lot of Reyes 1, 2, 3. My goodness, saw one Jones 3-4-5, seeing another Jones 3-4-5, but it is. I know I said 90% of you thought Reyes won, but I'm going to say about 98% of you think Reyes won rounds 1, 2, 3. I even see a Reyes 4-1, which I don't tend to agree with.
What do you think's next for John?
If it was up to me, I would like to see the rematch, especially because anytime there's controversy, I want the rematch. But this is the UFC, and they don't do things that make sense, as I say that near a bunch of UFC employees. I wanted the rematch between Diaz and Masvidal. That's obviously not going to happen. I expect they're not going to do this one. I would expect to see, well, Casey Land joins me. What's que pasó?
Esther Lynn of MMA Fighting. She's busy right now, but just want you to let her know. 1, 2, 3 Reyes.
Esther Lynn, photographer extraordinaire, also thinks 1, 2, 3 Reyes.
We saved you peanut butter cookies.
Oh, that flipped is oatmeal raisin. What the? Oh, thank you.
I know, that's the biggest controversy of the night, right?
Oatmeal raisin.
Oatmeal raisins cookies instead of chocolate chip.
Come on.
So before we let you go, 1, 2, 3 Reyes in your eyes?
Yeah, I swear to 1, 2, 3 Reyes.
It seems to be, I in the comment section, I started off with about 90% people thought Reyes won, but I think it's about more like 98%. People think Reyes won this fight. I asked them to write, like, look at all this 1, 2, 3 Reyes just blitzing down.
I definitely have to go back and watch it again because I was having just the hardest time shooting this. The way they were circling and the ref was just perfectly in between them every time. So I have like at least 300 shots of Mergliata.
I saw you running around there. I was tired watching them fight. I was more tired watching you run around in a circle, but everyone's...
It was a struggle, but I will go back and watch it. However, first impression, 1, 2, 3 Reyes.
I agree. Seems to be that third round was the 50-50 round, and see who else we got around here. See if we get my good friend, Matt Wells of Flow Combat. Matt Wells, come over here.
No, I'm so good.
No, we're going to talk to our 12,000 live viewers right now. Matt Wells, Flow Combat, my former partner in crime at Fanside. What did you think of the decision right now? I'm taking poll of the media members. It is, I think we're 6 for 6 on 1, 2, 3 Reyes right now. I asked our YouTube comments, and they were vehemently opposed to the decision of John Jones keeping his title.
That's fair. I don't agree with the rounds per se. I had 1, 3, and 4 for Reyes, 2 and 5 for Jones.
Interesting.
So I still scored it for Reyes at the end of the day, but, you know, what are you going to do? We're in Texas. Crazy things happen with judges, and unfortunately, I think a lot of people believe that Reyes was the winner, and we didn't get to hear Bruce Buffer yell "and new" after that long pause. I was expecting that when I heard "and still." Not only that, but when I heard that one judge gave 4 rounds to John Jones, I was like, what is going on here? But, you know, at the end of the day, John Jones retains most wins in UFC, most championship wins in UFC history. So I guess that's another feather in his cap. But this is going to be one that's going to leave a sour taste in people's mouths.
Not a good day for you, your hometown judging, I'm going to say. Your Texas. A lot of split decisions. What do you think is next for Jones? A lot of people want to see the rematch right away just because it was so controversial. They think because Reyes said if he was going to win, he would give Jones an immediate rematch. So people are saying he did win. Run it back right away. What do you want to see next for John Jones?
I'm not sure what I want next for John, honestly. I'm not a fan of immediate rematches if you weren't the champion. Sure. Like, obviously, if Jones lost, yeah, of course, you have to give him his immediate rematch. But listen, you're the challenger. You're coming in. You're a heavy underdog. So you gotta go back to the drawing board, get another win, maybe one or two. And who knows what Jones does? Maybe he does move up to heavyweight. You know, maybe he feels like he needs to do something different.
So you're saying we don't see a rematch like we saw Shogun and Machida run it back?
No. I'm not a fan of that.
Casey, what do you want to see next for John Jones?
If Izzy gets past Romero, F it, let's do this shit.
I mean, Izzy just tweeted LOL. That was his exact response. Let's see if he can take more polls from my fellow media members. Schmo, for our 15,000 viewers, how'd you score that fight? We seem to everyone be in agreement that.
This audio?
No, only audio, my man.
Schmo did have it 3-2. Reyes.
3-2 Reyes for Jones. My sure dog friend over here, Jay, how did you score it?
Well, actually, I scored it 3-2 for John Jones. I thought that John Jones edged that third round just enough. I know.
So which rounds did you give him?
I gave Jones the last three.
Last three, huh? That third round seems to be the 50-50 round, so our first John Jones, and Schmo's back.
Third round seems like a swing round around these parts. I did have it for Reyes, though.
Yes. Well, there you go. Schmo said it. I believe it. For our 15,000 viewers, how did you think it? Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. I'm going to get some more. For my other fellow media members, Mike Jackson, for our 17,000 viewers. This is audio only. How did you score that fight? A UFC veteran, Mike Jackson, I want to add.
So I had it, don't judge me. I had it 4-1 for John. But here's the thing, though. I had rounds, was it 2 and 3, that were fairly close. Yes. So I just happened to give that slight edge to John. But if you would have given the edge to Dom in those fights or in those rounds, and you would have had it, 3-2 for Dom, I would have been okay with that.
So not controversial. I don't want to use the word controversial, but you would have been fine with either.
I would have been fine with either. Again, when you're not looking at the totality of the fight. You're looking at the individual rounds. And so if you're looking at the individual rounds and you have a guy and he's squeaking by, you're going to, even out of the fight, you're going to give him a lot of those rounds. And that's how I had it 4-1. But like I said, if they would have gave it 3-2 for Dom, I would have been okay with that.
So immediately after, a lot of our audience wants the rematch. What do you want next?
I would love to see a rematch. So. I feel that was it showed more. We saw the maturity of John. He showed more patience, more so I feel in the Gustafsson fight. Sure. And so this was sort of an evolution of John, and I would love to see a rematch.
Well, there you have it. We got another Jordan right here. Well, how did you score it? And what outlet are you writing for, my man?
The MMA plug powered by Mile High Sports.
Well, there you go. Mile High Sports, one of my old former employees. So let's see. How did you score this fight? A lot of people, are you in agreement with Mike, or are you in agreement with every other media member that thinks Dominic Reyes won?
I personally saw the fight 3-2 for Jones.
Wow, 3-2. So what rounds? I'll put you on the spot.
So I saw rounds 1 and 2 for Reyes, rounds 3 through 5 for John. I think that you started to see the kicking game really come to life later on in the fight, and you started to see Dominic Reyes' pace start to slow. You really started to see a couple of times, especially in the 5th, he took a couple of very, very deep belly breaths that you could see his entire diaphragm expand. Sure. So once you started to see that, you started to really kind of see that fire in John's eyes light up to where, that's a lion right there. That's a lion going for the neck.
Sure. Well, we got in two Jones scorecards right here. I'm going to mosey on over to my other shirt dog guy. How we doing, my man? First of all, name?
Ben Duffy.
Ben Duffy. We've been on a few podcasts together.
We have, sir.
So I'll put you on the spot. How did you score? Are you in agreement with everyone else besides these two other men that Dominic Reyes won? Oh yes, these three men right here all believe John Jones won. Casey Lining's over there fuming right now with these scorecards he's hearing. How did you score the fight?
I am on the right side of history, and I have it 1, 2, 3 for Reyes, 4, 5 for Jones. But that's in the immediate aftermath. I really do need to rewatch it with the sound off tomorrow.
Did you watch it back here?
Yeah.
What did you think of the commentary? I was Octagon side, and a lot of people were complaining about the commentary.
I think it's consistent with the booths. They stick to the narrative too long. It takes them like a round and a half to realize that a fight is not playing out the way that they expected it to. And the constant screaming that Reyes looked tired was just killing me because they both looked tired. They looked like two guys in a 5-round fight. Yeah. So, it always bothers me, but I don't know that I could do better. So just watch it with the sound off.
So Ben thinks Dominic Reyes won. Jay thinks John Jones won. Jordan thinks John Jones won. UFC veteran Mike Jackson thinks John Jones won 4 rounds to 1. So far, it's starting to even out after kicking off. See who else we got. We're going to go to my friend over here, MMA. MMA on point. This is 18,000 people watching our live stream right now, my man. So for our 18,000 people, name, Jason, I believe that's your name, yes.
Yeah.
MMA on point. Well, how did you score the fight? A lot of us seem to be a lot of us not sitting at this table believe Dominic Reyes won that fight. So I'll ask you, how did you score the fight?
I had 1, 2, and 3 for Dominic Reyes. I saw it as a swing round. It could have gone either way. Sure. People don't believe in close rounds in MMA, but they do exist. It happens. I thought Dominic was dominant in round 3 in the beginning, but he started to fade, and that's when Jones started to take over, and I think he took over in the 4th and 5th, and I think that's how you score it. 49-46, ridiculous.
49-46 was ridiculous. Thank you, my man, by the way. So another tally for Dominic Reyes. I'm going to speak to my man Kendrick. We got 18,000 people watching us or listening to my voice right now. I'm taking a poll for the media, just audio only. How did you score the fight? A lot of us backstage seem to think Dominic Reyes won, but Kendrick Johnson of Ring TV, how did you score the fight?
3-2, John Jones.
There you go.
When the money was on the table, the last 3 minutes, John's experience got the deal. I don't just be asking questions to be asking questions. Without the bad experience, we're talking about Caitlin Chahagan's body language. She didn't look like somebody that was going to take chances. That's why she took that cold L, getting stopped for the first time in her career.
So which rounds did you score for John Jones?
That third one's the one I gave to. That was the only one I had. That's 50-50 round.
So with this being a lot of our YouTube comments seems to be a lot of people think Dominic Reyes won. John Jones did successfully defend. He keeps his belt. But if you're John Jones, do you want to run this back to really vehemently no.
No, why would you? He keep moving. Dominic Reyes is a future champion. Just don't let it be on your watch.
So who does he fight next?
Now that's the question. I would have to think if I hadn't thought about that.
A lot of people like Stylebender. A lot of people like maybe Stipe Miocic or the winner of.
I want either one of those fights. That's a legacy fight.
Sure. Well, that Izzy fight got a lot more exciting. I'll tell you that much.
For the fans, yeah. But in reality, no. His ass is too little. That's why they got weight classes.
Well, I appreciate you.
I can't say that.
No, you can't, man. I appreciate you. Kendrick Johnson, Ring TV thinks John Jones 3 rounds to 2. We are back on the YouTube live comment section. We just did a poll on our Twitter, and 58% of you so far, 2,242 votes, 58% of you believe Reyes won 3-2, 33% of you believe Jones won, 38% believe it was 3-2 for Jones, and then 3% of you believe Reyes won 4, and only a paltry 1% agree with that last judge that gave it 4 rounds to 1 for Jones. Oscar Willis seems to be transfixed by our YouTube comments.
Not very nice.
They're not very nice. Mike Jackson, UFC veteran, actually believes John Jones won 4-1.
Yeah, someone actually commented about that, and they said, "You saw the same as me, Mike. Good job."
There you go. Ben Duffy of SureDog believes Dominic Reyes won 3-2.
Says Reyes should have won. David said he had to fight 48-47 for Reyes.
Wow, I'm actually surprised.
I am also
And apparently he also said former UFC matchmaker Joe Silva scored at a draw. What did Daniel Cormier say? Did he say anything? Yeah.
So Daniel Cormier says about the idea that you have to beat the champion. He said, this train of thought is nuts. I have no idea how it still gets repeated over and over. It's a fight between two people. The person who does the most damage wins the fight. Just be happy it was a great fight tonight.
Close fight.
It was a close fight.
Super close fight. Performance of the night. So scroll up, see what our good friend Heidi Fang said. Fight of the night, Trevin Gallus, James Krause. Performance, Mario Bautista and Chaos Williams. I don't disagree with those, but surprising neither champion walked away with a bonus.
Valentina had a good performance.
She did. Another TKO. And we're not. That's an afterthought at this point.
That's really, it kind of sucks, actually, the main event being like this, because there's no discussion about Valentina, just doing what
To walk up and sit on that chair case, you can ask her anything you want.
Yeah.
Really?
Not everything.
Well, for our 18,000, I'm watching the
Valentina,
two.
Brexit.
1, 2, 3. Someone said WrestleMania 247. That's pretty funny. A lot of people are saying this was a fixed match.
MMA is way too disorganized to actually fix anything.
MMA is. Sometimes I think this is a silly, silly world, and then we should have a good performance. But
I would always put incompetence before
silly.
Before an actual conspiracy. You got to realize that nobody thinks that hard about it.
Well,
LOL Reyes.
yeah, LOL Reyes. That's what Izzy wrote. But
Texas judges are too stupid to fix the fight. Like they would mess it up. They would mess up trying to fix the fight.
our good friend Ryan Frederick of Wrestling Observer, excellent publication, big long-time subscriber. But yeah, it's a little bit of it's a weird vibe in the media room
Yeah,
right now.
everyone's just kind of like milling about, like.
We're just waiting for him to get out here and explain himself.
I'm getting a notification that Valentina Shevchenko, UFC flyweight champion, is on her way. Everyone seems to be scuttling back to their cameras. I'll keep talking until she comes up, and then I will mute myself because no one wants to hear me talk. I'm seeing still a lot of 1, 2, 3 Reyes. For all 19,000 of you. But make sure to head over to MMAfighting.com for all of your content. You can stay on our YouTube channel. You can get all of your content. Oscar Willis is still moseying about, waiting for Valentina Shevchenko. What's next for her, by the way?
Calderwood.
Seems to be Roxanne Modifier and Lauren Murphy are trying to pick a fight on Twitter. So that seems to be the next one for those two. And then, yeah, I agree with you. Joanne Calderwood's probably next. Seems like the UFC's really been trying to get behind her a lot in the past, so why not, right?
At this point, it's just whoever's. It's a bit like John before this fight, you know. It's like whoever's just got the most recent win, really, and she won in Abu Dhabi. So,
well, there you have it. For all almost 19,000 of you, Reyes 1, 2, 3, John's 2, 4, 5. That's a weird one. John's 3, 4, 5. Bring back Ariel. Sorry, guys. You're stuck with me.
Jesus.
Look at
So 1,000 more votes.
1,000 more votes. It's still exactly the same. 58% of you believe Reyes won 3-2, including UFC President Dana White.
Let's see what
You can head over to MMAfighting.com, check out all of our blessed content, including Esther Lynn's excellent camera work. She got an excellent punch face of Derrick Lewis basically decapitating Ilir Latifi. But I got the word that Valentina Shevchenko is on her way. We'll keep an eye out for her. Got a lot of people still saying 3-2 Reyes. I'd love to rewatch this fight, but I don't think my mind will change. Someone just wrote "boo oatmeal cookies." Couldn't agree more, my friend.
When they have raisins or just straight up oatmeal cookies?
Raisins.
Raisins ruin everything. Oatmeal cookies by itself are fine.
Yeah. I'm not in disagreement.
Okay, yeah. So just don't hate on oatmeal.
I like oatmeal.
Focus your hate on the raisins.
So oatmeal raisin cookies are the Jones 4946 of cookies.
Yeah, it all circles back.
It all circles back. I took a poll of pretty much every media member here, and I think 3 of them.
Oh, here we go.
And Valentina's here, so I'm gonna shut up.
Well, Valentina, congratulations. Probably one of your most dominant performances to date. How do you feel after a fight like that?
I feel good, feel amazing. It's not only because of performance, but last couple months it was a lot of work, a lot of hard trainings, like mental pressure, physical pressure, everything. And when you end the fight and with the result what you expected, it's the best feeling that you ever can feel.
Yeah. I know you go in expecting to win. I mean, where did you feel your biggest opportunities would be? I think you dominated pretty much all aspects, but did you think striking, grappling, where did you think you'd have the advantages?
It's first of all, from the beginning of the fight, I wanted to feel her power because I heard a lot what she was saying about the distant range, and I never fought someone like she, and like I wanted to feel, is it truth or maybe it's just words? And that's why it was kind of like, after I felt, and after the last elbow in the first round, when I cut at her, I knew that the fight is not gonna last all 5 rounds, and I just trying to find the best way to finish.
I know, after the last fight, you said, listen, there's no pressure to do things differently. I just have to win and keep my belt. But, I mean, is there a satisfaction you take out of having another highlight finish, not something that wasn't quite what fans wanted?
Of course, it's anytime I think you never can order how you will finish the fight, right? You can only prepare yourself to the biggest moment. And like I said before the fight, I prepared for all 5 rounds, the bigger distance, a lot of challenge that Caitlin gonna bring. And she tried to do everything. She tried to do it, but fighting with different opponents other than me, it's different because I don't know why she thought that she's gonna be better on the distance. I don't know why, because for example, my coach Pavel, he every time during our trainings, we work a lot on the stand-up, the distance, the feeling. He teach me how to be in the right moment, in the right place. And it was only matter. So during the fight, there is no thoughts. I never think about what I'm gonna do, how I have to do. I just let my body act to work, because I already teach it. I teach it for all these years, everything. It knows everything. And now it's time just to do the action, and looks like the body it's know how to finish or what to do better.
Yeah. And last thing for me, I know you said the great thing about being champion is you don't have to chase fights, they come to you, but what do you think makes sense? I mean, I don't know if there's a clear number 1 contender, maybe Modafferi, maybe Calderwood. What do you think would make sense for your next title defense?
We just watched the ranking of flyweight with Laura Sanko, and it was like after Caitlin and Jessica I, it is Jojo Calderwood, it's Jennifer Maya, and Roxanne Modafferi. So these three girls, I think they are like strong fighters, very good skills, and each one they have different style of fighting, and I would love to fight like anyone from them.
Even Maya, I mean, she's missed weight a couple times. Would that bother you?
I think if it's gonna be a matter of the title fight, she's gonna take it more seriously, probably.
Valentina, right here. I spoke with your manager, Roger, earlier today, and he said he thought tonight would be the best expression of your ability in the cage. Do you feel like that, this performance was that?
I just like small correction. I'm a self-manager since 1 year ago. We are good friends with Roger. He's helping like a friend a lot, and but like already 1 year I'm a self-manager. And can you repeat the question, please?
He just said he thought tonight, you were feeling so good coming into this fight, it would be kind of the best expression of your skills, and obviously you were so dominant, it was really impressive. Do you feel like you showed, the best of yourself tonight?
My fight, every single fight, I try to show the best of me. And of course, as I said, you cannot order the KO, TKO submission, but you just can to prepare as good as you can. For me, I don't like to say these kind of things about myself. Oh, it was my best performance, so I'm the greatest. So I don't like it. I just think that it's not right, it's incorrect, because if people say it, if fans say it, it's okay. But you as a fighter, you have to focus on your trainings and concentrate yourself, concentrate on works, not word.
We just talked about potential opponents, but do you know how soon you would like to fight again? It doesn't seem like you took much damage, and I know you like to be really, really active, so do you have any idea how quickly you'd like to compete again?
Doesn't matter. I don't know. Tomorrow, probably. I don't know. Yes, I would love to fight soon.
Valentina right here. How cool was it to have that belt on your shoulder and go, get congratulations from Halle Berry? I know that's a friend of yours now.
It was a very special moment for me. Halle, she's amazing person, and I'm very happy that tonight, she was here in the event. She came before the fight to wish me good luck, and it was like a very special feeling because for a couple of months as we were training together, then we did the movie that probably by the end of this year we could see, hopefully. And of course, it's every time. It's for me, it's very special moments, and this is what make you think. Yeah, you cannot just go inside the octagon and just do regular fight. No, you have to give yourself the best of you.
How big a deal for you is to get the Valentina brand mainstream so people know you everywhere?
I don't know. I just do what I love to do. I love to do martial arts because martial arts for me, it's not just my job. It's not. UFC, it's not just my job. It's my life. Martial arts, it's my philosophy, my lifestyle, everything. And I'm very happy to have this kind of life, not different one. Exactly this one. And I just love what I'm doing. And doesn't matter what I do, I try to give all my heart and to bring everything from me.
Is that why you have that mentality? Because it seems like anybody can get it at 125, and that's like your mentality. You don't care who's next. It's like you line them up, you knock them down. Is that your mentality?
It's true. This is my mentality, and it's like if opportunity comes to you, you have to be ready to take it. If you are thinking, okay, probably it's gonna come another time, I'm not speaking right now about the fights. I'm saying it like in general, right? Or what people are thinking. Okay, probably I don't take it this time, and tomorrow I will do it. It's not. It's not. You have to be ready to take it right now. And this is what I every time think that. Doesn't matter what position you are right now, champion or like whatever, you have to work hard. You have to work more than other one, and especially when you have a belt. It's not time to relax. People, other ones, they are thinking, okay, I will get the belt and I can relax. No, it's time to work harder than before.
And do you need that trilogy with Amanda to try to complete your career? Do you want that fight before your career is up, or if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen?
I started to fight in UFC in bantamweight. It's not my natural weight class. Like for example, my walk weight is 135 bantamweight. For 125, I'm not cutting at all, so it's my perfect natural weight class. And I'm so happy that UFC have this weight class where I can feel naturally. I can do like everything what I'm doing right now. That's why I just want to continue defend my belt, and but I'm not discarding any opportunities in the future. As I'm said before the fight, this fight with Amanda, it's something that beyond what she wants, I want. It's not there anymore. It's just gonna happen sometime. I don't know when. I'm not saying, okay, tomorrow. No, probably not. But it's gonna happen sometime. And when it's happened, I will be ready.
All right, before the fight, Caitlin talked about how she was going to try to use her reach and her height as an advantage. What did you think that she did really well in the fight that maybe surprised you?
Actually, I studied Caitlin good. I studied her movements, what she's doing, her like fins, how she trying to showing, for example, like looking to other side and throw some different things. So I knew all of this. I knew all her tricks, and I knew that she is gonna use it. That's why I prepared good for the fight, and nothing was something that surprised me a lot.
Okay, thank you. You look at your last three fights, you've been a big heavy favorite, and you've been dominant in each of these fights at flyweight. You look at Jojo, you mentioned that she's number 3. She's got one win in a row. Her last, before that she lost to Caitlin. Lauren Murphy called out Roxanne Modafferi. Do you feel like any of those top 3 that you mentioned, do they need to do anything else before they get a fight with you? And I know you don't make fights, but do you think that they need to get another win before challenging you for the belt?
If they gonna fight for one more fight, when I will be fighting. No, I want to fight. We done?
Valentina, can you stand?
Yes.
The gate was 3.55 million, sold out. We broke the record for largest gate ever at the Toyota Center. The attendance was 17,401. Giles and Krause won fight of the night, and Batista and Chaos won 50,000. Everybody won 50,000. Who's got the first question?
Dana, it ended up being a fantastic event, but of course, the discussion afterwards is all about the main event and the scoring.
Right.
And was it a good score? Was it a bad score? Can you give us your thoughts on how you scored it and just what you think about the result overall?
The scoring was all over the map. So Joe Silva, the former matchmaker here, had it a draw. Kevin Iole hit me up. He had Jones 3-2. Going into the last round, I had Dominic Reyes 3-1 going into the last round. My kids are terrorizing me that the fix is in and how can this happen, Dad? Reyes won that fight. And the list goes on and on of people that are reaching out to me. So it's not like there's this landslide of people saying, you know, there was a robbery or whatever. People have it all over the place. But the reality is, who gives a shit? We're not judges. None of us are judges. The judges called the fight, and that's that. And as far as, you know, the judging and the reffing tonight, do I think it was perfect? I do not. I think that we need to do some work down here. You know, I think that Mark Ratner and Hunter Campbell, you know, have to work with these guys, and they don't do a lot of big fights down here. And we all know that these kids work so hard and sacrifice so much. Even not, let's take Dominic Reyes and Jones out of the equation. If you're the first prelim of the night, you've worked so hard to get there. You know, you guys have heard me for 20 years talk about reffing and judging, and, you know, it's never going to be perfect, but it has to be close, man. I mean, these kids work hard to get here, and, you know what I mean.
You know, and I want to kind of ask you on that, because I know you said, hey, listen, you're too old to be bashing on these referees anymore, but everybody did seem to feel like the judging and the reffing all night was a concern. So what can you do? I mean, I know these guys regulate you, not the other way around. So, I mean, what can you do to try to maybe educate or improve?
Work with them. We can work with these guys, and, you know, first of all, the powers that be in the commission have to realize that there were mistakes made, and these things are going to happen. Nothing's perfect. No commission is perfect. No state is perfect, and it's something we have to work on. But in the Reyes fight, I mean, like I said, it was so all over the map. And then there's guys I talked to a few guys tonight that were like, you know, you can't run the last 2 rounds and take the title away from the champion. So you have people that think a lot of different ways on how they score a fight. But we're not judges.
Yeah.
You know.
Let me ask you specifically about Dominic coming in. You said this is a dangerous guy, that people don't even realize how dangerous he is. Probably showed that tonight. Talk about his career moving forward. I mean, is a rematch even an option for him? Do you feel like this was the type of performance where, you know, people will remember him now, and now this is a guy you can use? What do you think about Dominic moving forward?
Yeah. So coming into this fight, my big thing was the only problem with this fight is the general public doesn't realize how dangerous this guy really is and what a huge threat he is to John Jones. You know, he's a 4.5-1 dog, which is crazy. There's no way that guy's a 4.5-1. You saw it tonight. I never talk about fights right after. First of all, you guys were in here. I was just backstage doing some interviews. John Jones walked by with his legs all wrapped in ice, and they carried Dominic Reyes by me. Like, guys were carrying him. So when you see that shit backstage, you know you just saw an incredible fight. And do I think that he deserves a rematch? Sure he does. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah. And last thing for me, Danny, let me ask you about John moving forward as well. I mean, being in a...
Well, here's the other thing. You say what you want about John Jones. John Jones wins fights.
Yeah.
We can bitch about the judge, but it's not like there's this landslide, you know, where everybody... Who thinks John Jones won the fight? Anybody in here? No, there's hands in here who think Jones won the fight. I've been hearing this all night. John Jones won the fight. It was a draw. Reyes won the fight. It's all over the map. So it all depends on the way that you judge a fight, and it doesn't fucking matter. We're not judges. So it was a badass fight. One thing I do know, both of these guys are tough as nails, man. The shots that both these guys took tonight to the body, legs, head, it was a phenomenal fight between two phenomenal athletes. Say what you want about John Jones. John Jones wins fights.
No question. Does it give you any pause, though? You know, he was talking about maybe moving up to heavyweight. I mean, obviously, that's been talked about for a long time. But tonight's performance, what does it think, you know, how does that factor into what he does moving forward? Does it take heavyweight off the table? Does it take certain things off? What do you think?
let's not forget what I said going into this fight. Dominic Reyes was not a 4.5 to 1 dog. Dominic Reyes, tonight was the 4th time that he's made it out of the first round. He knocks people out in the first round. 9 people he knocked out in the 4th round. You know, so as you look at little things that both guys did in this fight, they both fought an unbelievable fight. They both made mistakes in this fight. And I think when they both go home and they start watching tape and they'll watch this fight over and over and over again, they're going to get back in the gym and they're going to work on things. If and when these two fight again, it'll be even better than tonight. So that's the positive out of what we saw here this evening. No matter what side of the fence you sit on who won.
Hey, Dan, over here to your left. So John obviously has been dominant for so long as a champion, and it seems like either guys are catching up to him, maybe some of the younger guys are coming up, or maybe he's getting a little bit older. Obviously, age is one thing that no one can fend off. How do you attribute this performance against Reyes? Was it more Reyes being very, very good, or maybe Jones maybe not being the same guy?
So what happens is when you take a guy like John Jones, right, and he's the GOAT, all the things he's accomplished, all the killers that he's beat, you set this expectation for John Jones, that John Jones should come out and destroy him and do this and that. John Jones isn't 25 years old anymore, okay? And John Jones is taking on these young killers. And, he finds a way to win these fights. I just think that the bar is set so high and you have such high expectations. Coming into this fight, in no way, shape, or form did I think that John Jones was going to walk through Dominic Reyes. And if you thought that, you don't know enough about fighting. Because there's no way. Dominic Reyes is the real deal. I knew it before, and I definitely know it now.
Is it in a sense a credit to Jones then in that case? That he was able to fend off a young contender. Also turn it on in those late rounds. He was.
And let's be honest. John Jones has not been good to himself outside of the octagon, okay? Normally, when you see a guy that's lived the life that John Jones has, they don't come back and do what John Jones is doing. This guy is a freak of nature in every way that you can be a freak of nature. I'm telling you, I was sitting there tonight, and I was listening to some of these body shots he got hit with, and the kicks, and the punches. Dominic Reyes would have knocked 100% of the people he fought out with some of the stuff he hit John Jones with tonight. And John Jones, not only did he walk through it, the one time that he got knocked down, he slipped. I thought that was a slip. I'd have to see it again, but I believed it was a slip at the time that it happened. And Reyes was hitting him with shots tonight, and John Jones was not walking backwards. He was walking forward, walking Reyes down. He's a bad boy, man.
Just want to ask quick about Valentina. She had that fight against Liz Carmouche, and people were saying a little bit of a lackluster fight, kind of a boring fight. Came out tonight, and she dominated, and she finished pretty violently on the ground. Were you impressed with that performance?
Absolutely. She's so awesome. She's such a professional and such a good human being on top of it. But at the end of the day, man, she's a gangster. That woman is an absolute gangster. When you got a gun tattooed on your hip, you are somebody not to be fucked with. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, she's so impressive, and she looks so good tonight, and I look forward to seeing her next fight.
One more thing from me. Why was it so important for you guys to honor Kobe Bryant tonight?
What's the question?
Why was it so important for you guys to honor Kobe Bryant?
Well, this was our first event since it happened, and a lot of people probably don't know this, but Kobe Bryant was an investor in this company here, which is a sponsor of the UFC, and he was also an investor in the UFC. What's crazy is, you guys heard me talk about what an amazing year 2019 was for the company. Massive year for the company, 2019. So Kobe Bryant actually got a distribution the Wednesday before this happened. And he was so pumped and so excited. And basically he said what everybody says when they invest in something and it does really well. He's like, damn, I wish I invested more. but he was a friend of the company. He was a friend of the sport, and he was a good guy in every way that you can be a good guy. And so I don't know. I hope I answered your question. Huh? Yeah, yeah. I mean, he was pumped, man. He's bummed out that he didn't invest more money into the UFC, but, he did all right. He did pretty good. So, not only was this guy a great basketball player, he won an Oscar, he was an investor too, and he made some pretty good investments for an athlete. You know what I mean? They don't always make the best decisions with their money, but Kobe Bryant did.
So you spoke to him only a few days before the accident. Yeah. Did that trip you out a lot when you heard the news of what happened?
I literally couldn't believe it for an hour. And then once it really started pouring in, it was crazy. Yeah.
Thanks, Dana.
I had somebody who was a huge fan of his that, her husband was like the biggest Kobe Bryant fan, and Kobe was supposed to come in on Tuesday and sign a jersey for him. Yeah, on Tuesday. So.
Hey, Dana. Just a quick one back to the judges. I know some people said that Jones, you can see an argument for 3-2 Jones, but would you agree that 4-1 to Jones is not an acceptable scorecard?
Yeah. Insane.
Also, Derrick Lewis tonight, he looked good. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of time he spent underneath Latifi, but he showed some high kicks, he showed flying knees. I just wanted to get your take on his performance.
Who's that?
Derrick Lewis.
Oh, yeah. Hey, listen, I knew when he walked out, the place was going to go crazy. This town loves him, and he came out to perform for his crowd tonight, man. He sure did. Yeah. Who in here ever thought they'd see Derrick Lewis throw a flying knee? Not me. It's pretty cool.
And obviously your next event is Israel Adesanya versus Yoel Romero. I just wanted to get a quick take. What was going through your mind when Yoel stood up yesterday at the press conference and sort of started marching over to Izzy?
So many of you know this, but I have problems hearing. I don't hear well. I don't hear out of this ear at all, and I have a real loud ringing. So I have trouble hearing as it is. Then when you have an accent, like you, sir, I have trouble understanding the words.
I can tell.
Yeah, I have trouble understanding the words. So I have a lot of trouble hearing. So I couldn't tell if he was pissed off or if they were just talking or whatever. So I get nervous thinking, when they got up to shake each other's hands, then he's doing backflips. And, yeah, I was completely, just trying to make sure these two didn't get in a fight.
Since he did that backflip and splits and all that, the reaction to it online has been like, oh my God. Now you've seen the reaction to that press conference. Any talk of it, or maybe Romero shouldn't have got the shot? Is that gone now? Are you sure this is the perfect fight to make right now?
Oh, listen, from day one, from when Adesanya wanted it, I have so much respect for the guy. Nobody wants to fight this guy, and you ask any of the fighters, interview the guys who have fought him. They say when they hit him, it hurts them. And this sounds weird, but if you touch this guy's like a piece of iron. It's the craziest thing ever. And Adesanya wants to fight him. How do you not respect it? I love it. And out of all the fights that we have lined up this year and fights that can be made off fights that are lined up this year, the fight that I am the most excited about this year is Weili Zhang versus Joanna Jędrzejczyk. I'm so excited for this fight, man. And, that's the co-main event. So it's going to be a very fun card.
Yeah, speaking of the card, and last one from me, tonight the full card was listed, and there's no Jared Cannonier on there, and I know the Till fight is sort of maybe being worked on. Is Jared possibly still involved in that card, or is he off that card now?
I have no idea. Off the top of my head right here, right now, I don't know the answer to that question.
Would you use him as a backup in case Romero has weight issues like he has in the past?
Who, Till?
No, Cannonier.
Oh, Cannonier?
Or
yeah.
Till.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Cool. Cheers, Dana.
Thank you.
Dana right here. What was the conversation? It looked like you were in almost like a heated conversation with Dominic right after the decision was read, and you guys were going back and forth. Can you just tell us kind of that conversation, what you said to him and what he said?
I was just telling him, kid, you got nothing to be bummed out about. That was one hell of a fight, and you just put yourself in a really good position. You know, obviously it's so hard to talk to a kid that loses a fight like that. But that was an unbelievable performance. That's basically what we were talking about.
Did you
His
have
corner was asking me, come on, how'd you have that scored and whatever? And I'm like, guys, who gives a shit how I had it scored? It doesn't matter. I'm not a judge. And every time you go out there, and I said this tonight when Laura Sanko came back into my room and interviewed me, but, you know, when these guys go out, you know, Dominic Reyes is fighting John Jones, and John Jones is fighting Dominic Reyes, and they're both fighting the judges too. You know, I don't know how many more times I can say it. It's just like, if you think these guys are incapable of judging a fight, then do everything in your power to take it out of their hands.
Talk a little bit about James Krause. Did you have a chance to talk to him after the fight yet? And
I did.
Just your thoughts and how that conversation went.
So he was super upset. He felt like he could have won that fight. And I said, you know what, kid, it doesn't matter. You're such a stud. I have so much respect for the fact that you came here to corner and you took this fight weight class up, didn't train, you know, all those other. I said, but let's never do this again. I'm gonna write him a nice check, and you know, and he won fight of the night. So financially, it worked out for him. But did you guys see him tonight? I mean, he's lumped up, and he was in a dogfight. And I was saying, the end of the second round, when he was getting up off the canvas at the end of the second round, I said, I bet he wishes he was cornering right now. But I got nothing but respect for him, man. Thank you.
Dana right here. With Valentina being so dominant, is there any thought about having Amanda and her go for a third time so we get that trilogy?
Listen, our 135-pound champion, GOAT, women GOAT, Valentina Shevchenko at 125, right behind her, you know, and our 115-pound champion, Weili Zhang, is nasty and badass and about to fight Joanna Jędrzejczyk. I think there's a lot of things you could do with the three of them, but I like the idea of them staying in their division right now and doing their thing. We'll see what happens in the future.
Are you tempted to put John in a super fight, either wherever happens with Izzy and Yoel or with Stipe or whoever, since he's basically cleared out the division?
Have they been back here yet?
No.
When you see him walk in here, and when you see Reyes walk in here, if they do, they might even have been transported. You don't even talk to them about fighting or think about fighting. What's next? You let these guys go home, be with their families, heal up, and, you know, we'll talk about that later.
Hey, you've been watching the sport way longer than me. Did Dominic Reyes look like a future champion to you? Today?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Dominic Reyes tonight looked like the future of the division. He looked damn good. And, again, John Jones has these expectations on him because of who he is and what he's accomplished. John Jones went in against a very, very, very tough guy tonight, and John found a way to win. We good? Thank you, guys. I really appreciate it. And thank you, Houston, man. What a cool city and cool people, and I love the culture and the attitude here and everything. It's awesome, man. Thank you very much, Houston. And I want to thank Tillman Fertitta and his whole crew for everything they did for us while we were here. Thanks.
Hello, everyone. Jose Young's back in your life once again. You just heard from UFC President Dana White and UFC Flyweight Champion Valentina Shevchenko. We're going to start with Dana White because that'll be the topic of conversation, I'm sure. He actually scored it 48 for me. Sorry about that, folks. Our frequency on this microphone is a little wonky with UFC booth, but we're going to speak about UFC President Dana White first. He scored at 48-47 Dominic Reyes, but didn't seem to think it was overly controversial. Said Dominic Reyes did enough to earn the immediate rematch, but it's up in the air for what's next for John Jones and Dominic Reyes. He said a lot of people scored it for Jones, a lot of people scored it for Reyes. Former UFC matchmaker Joe Silva actually scored it a draw. When in Dana White's words, it doesn't even matter because we are not judges, according to UFC President Dana White. I'm sitting here going through your YouTube comments, all 17,000 of you. I don't know who's going to be up next. He said John Jones's legs were all iced up. He said Dominic Reyes has to be carried around the back, so whether they show up or not is another story. I doubt Callan Chukagian shows up. I'm curious what you guys scored it. UFC President Dana White said 3-2 Reyes, so you tell me if you think it was a robbery, and tell me which rounds you think he won. A lot of people back here think it's 3-2 Reyes. A few people think it was 3-2 Jones. One person, his name would be UFC veteran Mike Jackson, scored it 4-1 Jones. I don't agree with that whatsoever, but I'm not Mike. Of course, my name is Jose Youngs of MMAfighting.com. We are live on the scene at the UFC 247 post-fight press conference inside the Toyota Center in Houston, Texas, to go over Alex Savis of MMA Fighting scored at 3-2 as she holds up the H-Town. She scored 3-2 Reyes. Cameraman Casey Lyons scored 3-2 Reyes. Oscar Willis of Mackley scored at 3-2 Reyes. Mike Jackson scored at 4-1 Jones. Ben Duffy of Sherdog scored at 3-2 Reyes. Matt Wells of Flow Combat scored at 3-2 Reyes. I'll get a couple words on Matt Wells. We're talking about words of UFC President Dana White. He also scored at 3-2 for Reyes, but didn't seem to think it was overly controversial because we are quote-unquote not judges, and it doesn't matter what we think. So your initial thoughts on what we just heard from UFC President Dana White?
Well, the thing that stood out to me was that he definitely agreed that 4 rounds for Jones was insane. But everything else he said made sense. You know, we're not judges, although all of us would like to think we really are. And it really was a close fight at the end of the day. I mean, there were close rounds. So I could see how some were scored for Jones and some were scored for Reyes. But, yeah, it's hard to disagree with what Dana said there. However, I do think I want to see some follow-up on what happens. Like he says, he wants to work with the commissions and stuff like that. I want to see some follow-up on that. I want to see some action taken.
So you're saying we need a Texas-based MMA reporter to keep us updated. You know anyone who fits that bill?
Maybe. Maybe I can ask around.
What do you think of what Valentina said? She seems to, she's interested in fun fights, but we've all been saying there's really no one left for her to fight. But she said she's down to fight Roxanne. She's down to fight Joanne Calderwood. She even mentioned Jennifer Maia, who probably has to bump up to 135.
I mean, she's a machine, dude. Whoever they put her in the cage with, she's going to stay in the pocket. She's basically just going to invite them in, like, hey, come into my buzzsaw if you want to.
Sure.
No matter who it is. And I mean, the only person that will give her the run for the money will be Amanda Nunes, but I don't think we get that fight.
So I'm going to go to my man Kendrick right here. What do you think of Valentina's performance, and what would you like to see her next from her?
I like to see her fight one, maybe 2 more people at 125 and get that trilogy. It's all about greatness. We got 2 of the greatest women mixed martial artists, but I don't think Amanda want that fight because she won twice. The only thing she can do is lose.
A lot of people think she lost the first fight. I mean, the second fight.
I had her lose the second one.
A lot of people think if that first fight had 2 more rounds, she probably would have lost too. She's going to be slowing down. But who would you like to see Valentina fight next at 125?
It don't matter. Did you hear my question? She said, you line them up, I chop them down, and I will be ready. She looked at it like a straight gangster.
Yeah. Well, I think we can all be in agreement that whoever she fights next, the gap in talent's going to be.
I actually think the gap expanded today. Like, it's one thing I've been saying for the last year on the Slip and Dip podcast that you need your best just to compete with her, and today she showed why.
And that's why you're the master of plugs, my man. Just got to get that plug in right there. But some of the tweets I was looking over, Israel Adesanya tweeted LOL in response. Chris Weidman said he had 3-2 Reyes. Daniel Cormier said he had 3-2 Reyes, but it was not a robbery. And, of course, The Rock was on the fence and said, great fight. Looks like someone's coming up. So I'm going to shut up right now as every Dominic Reyes is about to take the mic.
All right, who's first?
Well, Dominic, I know it's still fresh right now, and I imagine it's going to take some time to really soak it in and process it. But after what has been, I'm sure, an amazing week and then an incredible fight, what are the emotions going through your head right now?
Disappointment, first of all. I am proud of myself, though. You know, I went out there and fought with all my heart. You know, a goal for me for this fight was to make it an ESPN Instant Classic, and I feel like I accomplished that today. Man, I do feel disrespected, you know. One of the judges had it 49-46. Like, who are you? I might want to have a word with you. But other than that, man, I know I won that fight. I know I won that fight. I was in that fight. I don't have to watch the replay. I was there. I made Jon Jones look like just a man. I brought the fight to him, and man, this fucking man.
Talk about as the fight was playing out. I mean, you did exactly what you said you were going to do, right? I mean, you laid the game plan out and you executed it from the opening bell. So I mean, as the fight is playing out and the rounds are playing out, I mean, are you starting to say to yourself like, oh my God, this is a reality? Like, I can't believe this is happening.
Round one went exactly how I thought it was going to go, and it was a little bit trippy. I was like, whoa, like, this is going exactly how I thought it was. Like, heck yeah. Like, it's one of those things, you know, I don't have, like, all kinds of big coaches and all this. I don't train at a big gym, you know. I kind of just work in the dark. I kind of work just in the basement, in a sense. You know, and this is for me, this is a huge validation, you know. It's my very first time going 5 rounds in my entire career against Jon Jones, who is arguably the greatest of all time. And I put it on him. You know, I took it to him. Man, I feel like I'm the people's champ.
I think you even said that you think you gave him the last 2 rounds, but you think you gave yourself the first 3. Is that the way you scored it?
Yeah, 3-2 or 4-1. It could have been either of those. I truly believe that. I'm not even just saying that. I mean, look at the numbers. Look at how the fight played out. Those takedowns. How can you even score those as a takedown? He burned more energy trying to take me down. I just popped right back up like it was nothing, and then I elbowed him off the break. So it's like, you're gonna do me like that? But it is what it is, man. All I know is I am the truth, and people are gonna. People saw that tonight. You know, many people from the top down in this organization have told me I won that fight. And I'm so proud. I'm so proud, and I'm proud to represent, you know, my friends, my family, my culture, you know, everybody who's believed in me. You know, I shook up the world even though I didn't win in the judges' eyes.
Yeah. Last thing for me, Dom. I mean, you definitely accomplished it. It was an instant classic. There's no question about that. So let me ask you, will you – I'm not sure if that was the one you brought in or not, but it's probably –
I don't either.
Okay. Look, you're going to have to take some time and heal up. I know that. That's for sure. But will you push for a rematch? I mean, you know, this was, like you said, you pushed Jon to the limit. I think you were a name that some people didn't know. Will you push in your next fight to have this one again?
Yeah, I definitely would like a rematch. I mean, I won. But, and it was very controversial. It wasn't like he blew me out of the water and I was like cowering in the corner and, you know, sitting on my butt like, don't hurt me. Like, no, I was bringing it to him, you know. But I'm going to go home, rest up, you know, maybe go on vacation, sit on a beach somewhere and figure out what's next, you know, sit down and talk with Dana and figure out my future. No matter what, I showed who I am, and I think very many people can respect that.
Hey, Dom, to your left over here. Dana just left. Did you see him on the way out? Did you talk to him at all?
Yeah, we talked in the locker room.
Want to tell us about what?
he said, "You're the man, kid." He said, "I'm proud of you." And if it's any consolation, you're the future of the UFC, light heavyweight division.
And how did that make you feel?
Extremely proud. I mean, I've been in the UFC for 2.5 years. That was only my 13th fight, my first time ever going 5 rounds, you know. And for Dana to say that to me, you know, it means a tremendous amount.
You've seen the scorecards, right? You knew there was a 49-46.
Yeah.
I just wanted to get your thoughts on, I mean, do you think it's an issue with the Texas Commission? Do you think, where do you think the issue lies?
I don't know, man. But the disrespect. I mean, I don't know. I don't know where it lies. I mean, I don't know who's judging, because even if they were boxing judges, I had some very impressive boxing out there. You know, I was working the body, I was working the head, I was slipping, I was having fun, man. But whatever.
A couple times I saw you were kind of batting down his lead hand. Was that because he had the fingers extended?
Well, a couple of times I punched his fingers. I wasn't batting it down, I was punching the fingers like, bop. Yeah, don't stick your fingers out, man. Like, I wasn't doing that. You don't need to try to stop me, put a spike in my face, but it's neither here nor there. I mean, I got it done. I was still landing, even with that or without that or whatever. I was having fun.
Last thing for me, the 4th and 5th rounds, those are the ones that I guess the judges gave him. Was it a matter for you of cardio? Like, what do you think it was that gave him those last 2 rounds?
I mean, I'd never been in the 4th and 5th before. It was a big learning experience for me. I kind of knew I was up 3. I felt like I put it on him in the 4th as well. And the 5th, I thought he was going to do something wild. You know, I thought he was going to be spinning the whole time and trying to fly knee and all that. So I was just sticking and moving. But it is what it is.
Dominic, right here. What did you do on your cardio that it's like you kind of had that look all week that you knew something that we didn't know, and you kind of got winded in the 3rd, but then you got that 2nd win. So what did you do differently that you haven't shown? Of course, you haven't win 5 rounds, but I'm pretty sure you trained a lot differently to get prove us wrong.
Yeah, to be 100% honest with you, man, I hit the streets. I hit the streets hard. I usually do like a MMA style conditioning where it's like a program where you have all these set workouts, treadmill sprints, et cetera. But this time I was like, nah, I'm gonna hit these streets. And that's what happened. I mean, that combined with pushing myself as hard as I possibly could every single day. I mean, I was Shark Tanking myself for the sake of Shark Tanking. Like, there wasn't a reason to get a new fresh body every time I escaped. I mean, we saw my takedown defense tonight. It was fantastic. John Jones doesn't get stuff like that, you know? And that's a testament to the hard work I put in. You know, I was putting myself in situations where I'd escape, and then a new guy would come in for like 50 minutes straight. And I was doing that with striking exchanges as well. I mean, I've never worked that hard in my entire life, and I thought I'd get it done. And I felt like I won that fight, but the judges here in Texas, they didn't agree.
We talked about earlier this week about taking chances and not being a sparring partner. After going 25 minutes and taking chances, do you think you can beat John without them taking those crazy chances now that you've been in the octagon with him?
That's me, man. That's how I fight. I'm a dog, man. You got to get in there and be a dog. You can't go in there and be tentative and nervous. I'm there to scrap, man. I love to fight, man. Look at my strike count. Look at how much I throw. I'm a scrapper, man. I'm a dog, and you got it. That's just who I am. That's how I fight.
And before John hangs it up or moves up divisions, do you think he has to see you one more time?
I'd like to fight him again. He at the very end of everything, you know, he was like, "Dude, you're the real deal." Like, I did not expect that from you. I'm like, I know, like, saw it in your face. But he said when we rematch, it's gonna be epic. So.
How's that feel to have the champion's attention like that? It wasn't like he didn't take you serious, but I guess it's a lot different that you share blood for 25 minutes.
Well, he knows I don't only just have a left now, so.
And final question for me. What does this do for the Dominic Reyes brand? It's like like I said, we got the secret now. You had the secret in your pocket all week. You had the swag on a 15, and you showed that you're the real deal. So what do you have to do to let everybody know that you're going to be around for the next 4 to 5 years to be that guy to take over this division?
I just got to keep working, man. I mean, you don't get to this level and then stop. You know, I want to be great. I want to be one of the greatest. So you got to keep working. I got to keep working. Yeah, I'm going to take a little time, you know, heal up, enjoy my life a little bit, but I'm coming right back to it. I think this solidified my spot in the UFC for a very long time.
Dom, right here. Thanks for coming to talk to us, by the way. You mentioned you need some time to heal up. Obviously, you were limping out of the octagon. You limped in here. I think I saw something that maybe on the ESPN post show that mentioned something about a potentially torn ACL. Can you give us any insight on what's actually going on with you?
I'm good, man. We kicked the crap out of each other. My legs don't feel nice, but I don't think anything's torn. I mean, I wouldn't have walked. I'd be on a wheelchair or crutches right now. Yeah, I'm ginger, but have you ever been leg kicked that many times? There it is.
What would you do differently in a rematch? What do you think it would look like? Because obviously you feel like you did great in there. You feel you won the fight. So what adjustments would you make to, I guess, make it even more definitive?
Hey, come on, man. I can't give away the formula. What are you talking about?
Give us a hint.
Win in the judge's eyes.
Does that take away from, you know, that extra factor in the back of your head that you need another thing you have to consider?
No. I'm going to fight my fight, every fight, no matter what. I'm going to fight for me. I'm going to fight for my family and friends and my supporters and all the fans in the UFC. You know, fans want to see fights. They want to see great fights, and I intend on giving it to them.
Hi, my name is Takashi from UFC en español, así que te voy a hacer una pregunta, ¿ok? Vimos tu excelente desempeño, realmente creo que coincidimos la gran mayoría en que no fue justo el resultado. ¿Cuál sería tu mensaje para la audiencia de Latinoamérica y crees tú que estás en tu mejor nivel?
I'm going to need you to translate that a little bit.
But your Spanish is good.
It's not great.
You try, please.
Not
Are
right.
you on the best level?
That's a lot of thinking right now.
Okay, you try in Spanish, please. No?
Not right now. Next question.
Okay. Thank you.
We're good? You guys good? All right, thank you. Thank you for coming out tonight.
And we are back live on the scene at the UFC 247 post-fight press conference. My name is Jose Youngs. We just heard from Dominic Reyes, who came up short to John Jones in the main event tonight here in Houston. He seemed very dejected, disappointed himself. He was very adamant. He thought he clearly won the fight. Very adamant. He thought he clearly won the fight. He thought he rounds 1, 2, 3. Felt he did enough to beat John Jones, was quote-unquote loved to fight him again. But that remains to be seen. He said that UFC President Dana White approached him and said he's the future of the light heavy division, which made him very proud. But again, was very adamant. He wants another shot at John Jones. He wants to go on vacation, sit on the beach, relax, unwind, clear his mind before he decides what's next for his career. In the meantime, while we wait for the champ, who I assume is the last one out, you can stick around on our YouTube page. Maybe go watch some of our lovely post-fight scrums that Alex Savis, Casey Lyden, and I worked on back here. Of course, Esther Lynn, photographer extraordinaire, did her thing. Best photographer on the planet. Doing her thing, Octagon side. Just go hang out on our Instagram, instagram.com/MMA fighting, DOTCOM, twitter.com/MMA fighting, youtube.com/MMA fighting. You're, of course, watching the live stream of the UFC 247 post-fight press conference here inside the Toyota Center in Houston, Texas. We just heard from Dominic Cruz, who came up short to UFC light heavyweight champion Jon Jones in the main event tonight. Many people consider it a rivalry. A lot of people think he won 1, 2, 3, and he should have a shiny gold belt sitting in front of him, while Jon Jones. But in the end, Jon Jones is the one to walk away with the belt. Two judges scored it 48-47, with one even scoring at 49-46, which everyone, including UFC President Dana White, agreed was a little wonky. I believe we are just waiting for Jon Jones. I have no word on where he is or whether he's showing up, but we are still live on the scene. He's taking a shower, what we've been told. But we are waiting on UFC light heavyweight champion Jon Jones. My name is Jose Youngs, and I will be your guide through UFC 247. Is that funny, Alex? Matt Wells mixing a drink. Is that electrolytes? Look at you, man. Hello to you 15,000 people. Dom, I don't speak English. Reyes, that's so mean. But anyway, if you think Reyes won, write robbery and write the... God, robbery, write the rounds. Look at Alex. Tongue twister extraordinaire. I can't do that. If you thought Dominic Reyes won, write down robbery and which rounds you think he won. There you go. Bam. Of course, you can, while you're waiting, you can watch any of our post-fight scrums with any of the winners from tonight, including 2 guest fighter scrums with Jared Cannonier and UFC welterweight champion Kamaru Usman. They are on our YouTube page right now. Or you can head over to MMAfighting.com and watch some of the excellent content from the whole team holding it down while we're here in Houston, including Damon Martin, Alex K. Lee, Stephen Morocco, and the captain Brian Tucker. Holding it down with some blessed content on MMAfighting.com. Head over to Instagram, check out any of Esther Lynn's photos, or you can just stick around on our YouTube page. Watch any of our post-fight scrums. But I'm seeing a lot of robbery. Oh my goodness. Robbery 1, 2, 3 Reyes. Robbery 1, 2, 3 Reyes. Robbery 1, 2, 3 Reyes. It is truly a sight to behold how many Reyes 1, 2, 3 I'm seeing. If you want to see the rematch, write rematch in the comment section. My name is, of course, Jose Youngs. I think I'm on my 8th cup of coffee today. My heart's probably going to stop sometime. Robbery 1, 2, 3. Robbery 1, 2, 3. Robbery 1, 2, 3. We'll, of course, someone's asking when we'll have our post-fight show. That'll be after we hear from the champion, Jon Jones. We're just waiting on him. Rematch. A lot of rematches. If not rematch, write the fighter. Better yet, don't write rematch. Write the name of the fighter you want to see Jon Jones fight next.
Yeah, I tried to post something on Twitter.
Hello. Apparently the internet's in flux right now, but. No, not clips, just like the full Valentina one as a task. Hello, everyone. Are we back? Hello, everyone. We're back. Sorry about that. Let's check the live chat. And we're back. All right. Back to what I was saying before. Who do you guys want to see John Jones fight next? If you want to see him fight Dominic Reyes, write Dominic Reyes. You want to see him fight Corey Anderson, write Corey Anderson. You want to fight Israel Adesanya? Right, Israel Adesanya. You tell me. I know a lot of you think Reyes won 1, 2, 3. You tell me who you want to see him fight next. Casey?
15 minutes.
15 minutes till John Jones? I'm trying to get a sense of who our audience wants to see John fight next. A lot of them saying robbery. We got that out of the way, but I'm asking them, write the name of who you want to see John fight next. Stipe, Santos. Santos.
Are people not saying
Santos. Reyes and Santos. Stipe, Israel. A lot of Reyes's. A lot of Stipe. Pretty much all Reyes and Stipe.
Why Stipe? Stipe's like out for indefinitely.
Supposedly. Someone just wrote Goku.
If Stipe's fighting next, when Stipe's fighting, he's fighting DC. That's the only person he's fighting. So Stipe's really off the table for a while. So
The internet,
I bet Stipe.
the YouTube section is bonkers right now. Dom Reyes, Stipe, Cormier, Stipe, Yoel.
Fun fight. Just do John Jones versus Derrick Lewis. You know.
Why not? Yeah. Have him welcome into the heavyweight division. Cormier, Reyes, Cormier, Corey Anderson, Kurt Blades.
I do feel the next fight for John will be if Corey Anderson gets by Jan next Saturday at Rio Rancho. I think that will be the next fight for John.
Someone wrote Gustav, I assume Gustafsson. Someone wrote Rockhold, Ngannou, Lesnar, Diaz, Stipe, Thiago.
Well, actually, I think it's the more fun question is who's next for Reyes if he doesn't get a rematch?
If John Jones doesn't give Reyes the rematch, who should Dominic Reyes fight next?
Oh, we have a sexy man who just showed up. He's not wearing a shirt. He has a sexy accent.
Yeah.
So, if Reyes doesn't get the rematch, who would you like to see him fight next?
Who would I see Dominic Reyes fight next?
If he doesn't get the rematch.
I don't think he'll get the rematch, but
Yeah,
Thiago Santos probably.
Well, Santos is kind of healing too, like blown out knees still, probably.
Yeah, but he's back training though. Sure. And if you think that Reyes will probably need a bit of time off as well.
I feel like this time of night, I just like I can't. It's like somehow I can't
I actually,
think of one fighter.
basically, I literally can't think of any other 205ers right now.
We got the main event between Glover and Anthony Smith headlining the Lincoln,
Probably
Nebraska card.
Probably the winner of that.
Yep. Who else we have?
Where's Misha?
Misha Serkinov. I don't know if he has anything booked to be coming off that Peruvian necktie up in Vancouver.
I think Misha's there. It's, I mean, I don't like guys who are number 2 fighting number 3.
What if?
The
What
Texas
about?
commissioner probably going to put Reyes on a medical suspension of about 6 years or something stupid. Anyway.
What about a returning Jimmy Mano if he comes back?
No.
All right. I tried, guys. Sorry. Yeah. What about the loser of Anderson and Blachowicz and Corey Anderson Blachowicz?
Actually, the fight I would love to see. I don't know, UFC probably won't do it, but I'm forgetting his name already. The guy, the Rising champ.
Jiri?
Jiri. I think Jiri deserves a very high level fight. I think he's already earned it. I want to see. I want to see him right there.
Yeah, Johnny Walker's fighting Nikita Krylov in Brasilia, next to his first camp since moving to first fight since moving to TriStar.
I will say this, actually, like if looking at Reyes' performance, I know obviously Johnny Walker did lose, but I would be interested to see Johnny Walker versus John Jones now. Looks like if you're a really tall, good striker who moves well, he'll have problems with you. But then I suppose you need to know about Walker's takedown defense.
You know, it's weird. Yeah, I just realized I thought John has lost his last 2 fights. I realized the Santos fight more people thought he won than I did.
That's more 50-50 than this one.
Yeah, but I think it's weird. I put John's honestly on a 2-fight losing streak.
The Thiago Santos one was weird to me because it was kind of like for me it was like he almost like he lost on the scorecards, but he didn't lose because everyone knew he could have gone to the grappling and stuff, and he just sort of didn't because he's weird. No, I'm seeing by that face, Casey, that you don't agree with that assessment that I just made.
Someone says, nah, not Walker. A lot of people saying Walker's not ready for Jones.
That's what they were saying about Reyes. Every single one of these people were saying Reyes wasn't ready for Jones. Like I look in the comments.
There's a contempt in your voice for them.
Yeah, well, I didn't say that, but yeah, definitely the content is there, and so it was in the tone, but I didn't say it, so.
Jones 1-2-3, Santos 1-2-5. That's what people are saying. So a lot of people believe John Jones has lost the last rounds. The last 2 fights, people believe John Jones lost the opening 2 rounds.
Yeah, pretty much.
Someone writes Rumble Johnson.
We have a man of a sandwich. Oh no, it's not a sandwich. It's a. We fold a pizza over it. So we have a reporter from a Connecticut sports blog.
Who do you work for? Like a newsletter? Like a bi-weekly newsletter?
Yeah, it's like a WordPress site.
Yeah. It's like a WordPress site.
Some WordPress sites do very well, Mark.
Yeah. ESPN.geocities.com.
My free site's got a fire. Angel Fire site.
So
I miss the times when we had the little cursors when they moved the little arrow dragged around.
Yeah.
That was a good time.
You can like design your own.
I just said Messenger while we're at it.
What are we talking about here, guys?
Talking about designing websites on GeoCities.
Things we miss.
Tumblr, yeah. I used to like LimeWire to download everything.
How many of these YouTube users used to have a Friendster account?
Not many.
I had LJ.
In the UK, we had a thing called Bebo. You guys ever have that? Uncultured swines. Fake taxi. Yes, Matt Crabtree.
Yo, put on a tie and then call me an uncultured swine.
Is there anything interesting?
Can you tie a tie?
Can I tie a tie? Yeah.
Why are people saying fake taxi?
Fake taxi.
Let's not
Don't
start.
Google it.
We're not going to start.
Something else? Oh, okay, I don't know.
Say it again, guys. Good Lord.
It's got a storyline.
Oh, okay. I don't know what's going on now.
It's a certain site that certain individuals will like to go watch certain things on.
British guys?
They could be British.
Oh, all right. Wait, are you the? Wait, no, I shouldn't. Okay.
Yeah.
Should we stop this?
Yeah.
Please talk about something. The next question immediately. Fake taxi. Who had a Bieber? Yeah,
Rogan 1, 2, 3. What'd you think? You were back here, Casey. What'd you think of Rogan's commentary? A lot of people complaining.
He just does the thing where like he's just obsessed with how tired a guy is, and
Yeah.
and like not one point during the conversation, during their commentary, were they going, "Hey, this guy might have lost the first 3 rounds. He has to finish the fight." Which I guess they were correct in not saying that because none of the 3 judges thought that way. But when I was watching it, I was just like, "Hey, why aren't they talking about the fact that he's just lost 3 rounds?" And what's going on? Like this, he has to finish the fight.
But he was tired, Casey.
He was tired.
He was sleepy boy.
And even in the
Just a small little sleepy boy. Apple Valley's greatest athlete defeated the GOAT. Deontay Wilder versus John Jones. God. Imagine. Esther Lynn back in the fold.
But John did kind of confirm my own thoughts about him.
They were all complaining about Joe Rogan's commentary. You and I were Octagon side, but
Oh, yeah, I didn't hear it.
as you know, Joe Rogan tends to latch onto he was tired.
What was he doing the entire time?
Fixating on Reyes quote apparently being tired rather than possibly winning 3 rounds against John Jones.
I'm pretty confident that Rogan said like about 4 minutes into the fight, he was just obsessed about how tired Reyes was, and.
Well, after the first round, I was like, "There's no way Reyes can keep that up for 5 rounds," because he came out fast.
Yes.
Which is, I think, what you should do.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I think if I was gonna pick Reyes for the upset, I thought actually I didn't think it was gonna be like this. I thought it would have been a first round knockout. He would just come out fast. And
I don't agree with Dana saying John Jones tripped. I think he was stunned.
He got. I think it was a. Was it? Did he catch the kick and then he gave a hard punch to the body? It was a very hard punch right to
First round, I thought he got popped in the nose.
Did he got?
See, it's all a blur.
It's very late. You need more power.
Who would you like to see Reyes face next if he doesn't get the rematch? I'm talking to Esther Lynn right here, as she just faces a cookie.
Excuse me, I'm busy eating a peanut butter cookie right now. Santos, I guess.
Santos, or the winner of Anthony Smith Glover Teixeira, or Casey wants to even fight Jiri from Ryzen coming over. We also have Corey Anderson Yan coming up, and Johnny Walker and Nikita Krylov in Brasilia, rounding out some light heavyweight matchups. And Misha Serkinov is out there.
Reyes, he should fight the loser. I think the loser of Anderson, how do you say it? Blachowicz.
Yes. A lot of people wanted to see Santos. A lot of people want to see John Jones fight Cormier for another time for whatever reason. Don't know.
I would say no matter how great a card is, no matter how awful a card is, this time of night is the worst.
That is a fake Twitter account, Oscar Willis.
If I was a good reporter, I'd have known that.
We also talked.
But I am not.
That's Mac life right there.
Oscar Willis coming in.
Yeah, go down the timeline. You'll quickly discover it's fake. Yeah. But who knows? Maybe a 14-year-old boy was judging out there because that's who's running that timeline right now. A 14-year-old MMA fan who might be about 90% of our YouTube commenters.
Way past everyone's bedtime.
It is so far past my bedtime. We're getting some movement. He is mobile. I wish the people watching could see the massive rush of reporters just like blitzing Tor. I'm Jose Youngs, of course, your tugboat driver on this magical ship we call the UFC 247 post-fight press conference. Alex Savage is going hard on the paint on some powerful clips that we'll blast out for you guys to catch up on. Literally everyone is standing on this tiny stage ready to do their thing. This is one of the nicer media rooms, I will say. It did not work well for the scrums. I haven't been to a media room that's been like rock solid when it came to them. John Jones versus Baby Yoda. Reyes versus the Spanish Dictionary. This Casey zooms in like shockingly close to the microphone. Ong Long Nang, dude, I would love John Jones to fight Ong Long Nang. He's the one championship champion. It's not gonna happen. A lot of people want to see him fight Ong Long Nang. That would be a banger.
Yeah, I mean, but those
It's
are
never gonna happen.
Never gonna happen, but cool.
Like neat.
Yeah, of course I want to see that. I mean, but we're talking reality.
Someone wrote Reyes 5-0. That I don't agree with. That's as ridiculous as John Jones.
Why is Rey's mom on YouTube right now commenting? What do we just? Oh no. Okay, I thought we're losing people coming back.
It's 2 a.m. It's 3 a.m. Eastern. It's 2 a.m. local. It's midnight on the Pacific, right?
Midnight Pacific.
No, it's 11 Pacific. I don't know these days.
Let's talk about the co-main. Who's next for?
We were talking about Valentina. She named a few people. She even named Jennifer Maia.
I think Roxy's to me is the person that should be next.
She's strike while the iron's hot.
Yeah, strike while the iron's hot. Big win. I don't think Roxy's gonna be getting better. I think this is who she is at her best, and I don't think she's never gonna be hotter, and she beat up her sister. So
Well, it seems like Roxanne and Lauren Murphy are picking a fight on Twitter.
Lauren Murphy, stop it.
Well, no, Roxanne called her out. Roxanne's like, let's make it happen.
No, but Roxy, get your title fight, Roxy.
What if she just wants to fight Lauren Murphy first? And then Joanne Calderwood. Maybe she's like, you know what, my teammate Joanne Calderwood wants the title shot. I'll give her the title shot. You know, Roxy's that type of fighter.
Well, she needs to stop, and she needs to take that dang title fight.
Stop being nice and fight for a championship. JoJo versus Bullet. There you go.
Eventually. Whatever they do, they should, whoever, like the Maya or Roxy's, Calderwoods, they should definitely not be fighting each other because the UFC need contenders for Shevchenko.
So
Shevchenko right now is like kind of the perfect co-main for these pay-per-views. Not, obviously not quite big because there's no rivalry. You need a rivalry, and she's not quite big enough name to headline a pay-per-view, but it's a great co-main.
So who do you think is next for Katlyn Chookagian? I think Andrea Lee's a good name. She also lost on this card. She also lost to Joanne Calderwood.
Actually, it kind of sucks, but the fight that would have been perfect would have been Chookagian and Carmouche.
Honestly.
That seems like the fight to make, but I don't.
Well, we also
it wasn't really a storyline coming to this fight, but I thought if Chookagian doesn't put a good performance in, that who knows, maybe she'll get the Carmouche treatment. You know, but I feel like somehow in a weird way, the way the UFC thinks is if by her getting finished and just getting her ass handed to her, yeah, somehow like that will get you more of a lifeline in the UFC than Carmouche's performance.
Well, another name. What about Molly McCann? She's Meatball Molly. She's on like a pretty good win streak.
Is she?
Yeah, she won in Boston. She's the first flyweight in the UFC. She's the first female fighter.
Meatball?
Yeah, not named Joanna Jędrzejczyk to have 3 straight fights with 100+ significant strikes.
All right, Meatball versus Chookagian. Is that what we're talking
Meatball has a fight, I think, on the London card. And here we go, folks. Looks like we're getting the line, so I'm going to kill this mic, and you guys can hear all about John Jones.
My pants are incredibly tight.
I don't even know how to start on that one. Well, John, I mean, obviously tested to the very limit tonight, man. Pushed by a contender, but you walk out victorious. I'm sure you want to go back and watch the tape and all that and break it down. But just in terms of emotion and thoughts right now after a fight like that, what can you share with us? What you're thinking, what you're feeling at the moment?
Well, I got to start by just saying thank you to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ for just allowing me to be here on this journey, for making my feet like hinds feet and setting me on high places. This is truly a high place to be a Christian fighter representing the UFC and being one of the best. It means a lot. So thank my Lord Jesus for that. My team, I can't sit here and name every one of them because I don't want to forget a name. But the team of men around me, they've invested so much. And I'm so grateful to each and every one of you guys for the time that you spent away from your wives and your kids, being with me, helping me on my journey. I got one coach that got his first world championship tonight. I'm so proud for him. And I'm proud for all these guys. I want to thank my fans who's been with me through thick and thin. I want to thank them so much for everyone who ordered the pay-per-view tonight, all the fans that traveled to be in attendance. Thank you guys so much. My fiance, Jesse, I love you. And thank you so much for all the support. My kids, thank you for your sacrifice. Your question was?
As far as you personally, I mean, obviously, great thanks for all those people, but you, right now, your emotions, your thoughts after going through a fight like that where you were really pushed to the limit, but got to retain your title.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, you hear people say, you don't lose, you learn. And I'm really grateful to have a win and such a learning experience. Dominic did a tremendous job. I respect him dearly. I respect him wholeheartedly. And what a way to put yourself in the history books. Doing it with such a hard-earned fight. You know, David Goggins, he wrote me last night. And I can't repeat what he said verbatim, but the basis of his message was, be the guy who embraces the ugly, the miserable. Be the guy who embraces hard work, the grind. Don't be afraid of being hurt. Don't be afraid of sacrificing some blood, you know. And, you know, the whole week I was thinking, I want to finish this fight. I'm going to finish this fight before the championship rounds. And this is, you know, I should be able to smash this guy. You know, Goggins' message, it was for a reason, you know, his reason. And Greg Jackson's been saying it for years, be comfortable being uncomfortable. But Goggins gave me a really good reminder, just, John, you should want this fight to be miserable. You should want this to hurt. Be the guy who thrives in that. And I felt like I was that guy tonight. I had to earn this position. You know, I think about, you know, the first person to climb Everest. You know, I'm sure people died. Lots of people died. I respectfully say that. The first man who ran a 4-minute mile, I'm sure he was hurting bad, you know. To be the first person to do anything, you should look like this. So that makes the victory even sweeter.
Talk about those first 2 rounds. I mean, you talk about embracing the ugly and the grind. I mean, that guy came after you from the opening bell, showed you no respect, you know, and brought it to you. So what's going through your head those opening 2 rounds? I mean, is there panic? Is there concern? Like, oh my gosh, this guy is more than I thought he would be.
Yeah, there's no panic. A part of me just wanted to see. A part of me wanted to see how long he could keep that up. A part of me wanted to see what he had to offer, and I saw what he had to offer. I also saw that he couldn't keep that up, and you got to embrace that. You know, what I do for a living is not always pleasant. It's just a big part of the game. It was a great feeling out process. I realized that I got to take his best punches. I think my chin is very underrated.
Some people are saying controversial, at least everybody's saying close, right? I mean, the decision was close. You go to the final bell, you and your team are talking, you're out there waiting. What did you think? I mean, how confident, how comfortable were you? Yes, we banked 3 rounds. I mean, did you know, or was there a little bit of fear to think maybe we came up just a little short tonight?
I wasn't always confident that I was winning the fight. I was confident that I wasn't going to be giving up or slowing down. Greg Jackson said to me, "John, you may need to win this 5th round to win." And that heart of a champion said, "No problem, coach. I got that. I can do that for you. I can leave it all out there. You got 5 minutes left." And I think I displayed the difference between a champion and an extraordinary contender. He had all the tools. I think he had the endurance. But something special happens. Something special happens when it's a time for the champion to present himself. And you guys saw it tonight in the 5th round.
Yeah. Last thing for me, John, I mean, this guy, is he a guy that you think you're going to see again in the future? Because I think a lot of people would be intrigued, just like they were when Gustafsson pushed you to the limit. They wanted to see it again at one point. Is this a guy that you want to see again at one point to maybe prove a point or just to have an epic encounter?
Yeah, I heard he may have torn his ACL, and if that's true, he could be out for up to a year. It's not torn?
He said he didn't think it was, but...
Well, in that case, it's my job to embrace the toughest challenges. I mean, that's what a champion's being about. You know, I fought DC twice. Had no problem signing the contract. I fought Alexander Gustafsson twice. No problem signing the contract. And if the people want to see me fight Dominic again, it's going to be up to Dana White to find a way to make that happen.
Here in front of you. Second fight in a row where kind of the post-fight narrative is, oh, it was really close, all that kind of stuff. Dana was in here earlier, and he said that just from what you did so early in your career, the standard is so high for you, or the expectations are so high for you to perform. Do you think, you know, in the sense that people, it kind of clouts their judgment in a fight? They see a guy, you know, giving you a little bit of trouble, and maybe they think he's doing better than he actually is, in a way?
Yeah, I got to watch, I think it was Gilbert Melendez, and I want to say it was Dominic Cruz. They did an interview recently where they watched my Thiago Santos fight. They watched it without commentary, and they also watched it without. They watched it after some time had passed, and they got to look at it without all the emotion, and they realized, excuse me, and they realized maybe this fight, maybe John really did win the fight, you know. So I think I have set a high standard. Out of maybe 30 fights, only 3 people have put me into an actual competitive match. Seeing me with black eyes, seeing me get punched is not something that happens every time I show up. So people definitely get really excited, even when an opponent throws a jab. When an opponent, you know, at one point I think I fell to the ground. I wasn't hurt. I bounced right back up. But the fans loved that. You know what I mean? So it's hard when you when people expect great things out of you at all moments. You know, I'm still a martial artist like everyone else. I bleed. I have insecurities. I have weakness. I have pain right now. So it's hard when not only you're fighting for these records, but you're fighting for people's approval. You're fighting to look extraordinary every time. It's a lot of pressure.
And with that said, though, I mean, I'm sure you would prefer to have the dominant performances, the finishes and everything. In your mind, is there anything you could be doing, whether it's in your preparation in the fights itself, to make these fights, you know, more definitive and not having us have these discussions about being close afterwards?
Yeah, you know, I'm happy with what myself and my team's been able to accomplish. You know, out of my last 4 fights, you know, I finished Alexander Gustafsson, which was, I mean, he sent me to the hospital the first time. I experienced morphine for the first time with him, and I finished him. And then Anthony Smith, I didn't get the finish, but I mean, he was in the fetal position for a lot of that fight. That was a dominating performance. And unfortunately, you know, for some of my fans, Thiago Santos and Dominic Reyes, I couldn't put them away, and they challenged me. But there's good in that, you know. One of Mike Tyson's biggest problems was that he was so dominant, people lost interest. So the fans got their money worth tonight by seeing me go through the ringer and getting to see the heart of a champion. That's totally worth the $60 you paid on pay-per-view. There's good in this.
Yeah, and lastly for me, you mentioned the history books and records and stuff a few times up here. I mean, most title fight wins in history now. You're one of the few people to have 20 UFC wins, longest unbeaten streak, all these things. I think I saw you mention that you're one of the greatest American athletes in the UFC quote they sent out. What does just tonight making this type of history mean to you and your legacy?
It means a lot. You know, as of right now, it's hard to, I've been so focused on winning this fight. I haven't really thought about everything this means. But I know it means a lot. There's been so many tremendous athletes to compete in the UFC, and to do something that none of them has done, it means a lot. I'm happy for myself, but I'm more happy for my coaches. I mean, these guys are a part of something special. You know, when they get to tell their grandkids, you know, I trained possibly one of the baddest fighters ever. You know, and hopefully my record still stands when they have grandkids. I think years from now, what I did tonight will be more appreciated. I really don't see anyone beating this record for a very long time. If George St. Pierre came back, I guess he could compete for that to get, right? Could he? Yeah, he's one behind me. So George will be the only person that could come back and compete for this record. Outside of that, I don't see anybody getting up there with that record. Mixed martial arts is getting harder and harder. The holes in people's games are closing up. Everyone has takedown defense now. Everyone knows a little jiu-jitsu now. Everyone can switch stances and do things like that. So I think I'll appreciate what happened tonight, you know, 10 years from now when that record is still standing.
All right, John. First question over here. You talked a couple of times about the heart of a champion. I don't know if you were aware of the former Houston Rockets coach, Rudy Tomjanovic, when they defended their title in the 94-95 season. He talked about never underestimate the heart of a champion. Is that something you felt that Dominic underestimated today, your heart and your chin, perhaps?
Yeah, that chin is underrated for sure. I mean, I've watched Dominic knock so many people out, and I feel like I took some of his cleanest shots, and at no point was I wobbled. You know, I think my vision went out at a few points, but you know, God has blessed me with a chin, and that's something I can't take credit for at all. Either you're born with one or you're not, and I have a great chin, so I'm grateful for that. But a heart of a champion, man, that's something that I don't know can be taught by a coach. I think that's also something you're born with. And I got to let that come out. I knew it was inside of me. One thing about fights like Thiago Santos and Gustafsson and tonight, you exercise that warrior spirit. You exercise that little bit of that a lot of people don't have, man. And, you know, when the going gets tough for a lot of people, they look for a way out. There's a little door. Rampage Jackson talked about it. There's a door that opens up and says, this is a challenge here. The easy way out, you can take this fall. You can tap out, you can let them catch you, you can pretend like that body shot hurt and curl up. And I'm grateful that I got to exercise my dog tonight.
So, last question is, you've got a multitude of options at your disposal, whether it's, you know, heavyweight, whether it's rematches with Thiago Santos, who seems to be, you know, forgotten a little bit, or, you know, Dominic, or, you know, Israel is still out there. Now, Israel's talked about, you know, he has no problem fighting you, whether you have the title or not. He just wants to fight you, looking forward. Is that something that you'd be interested in? If he does not have the title, would you still be interested in him?
No comment. I'm just here so I don't get fined.
All right, John, right here. You mentioned that you had heard that Dominic had tore his ACL. Dana had mentioned that when you had walked by you looked in some rough shape. How are you feeling right now? What kind of injuries? And you mentioned your eye, but what kind of injuries are you going through right now?
I'm hurt. I'm not injured at all.
Okay.
A week from now, I'll be totally fine.
Well, speaking about a week from now, in Rio Rancho, Corey Anderson is fighting Jan Blachowicz. How do you see that fight going, and are you going to be there? And do you see that those guys are someone that you could be fighting next?
Yeah, I think I'll be there. I think I'll be there. I normally don't attend a lot of MMA events, but I think it's going to be an awesome opportunity for me to see fans, UFC fans that live in the state of New Mexico. And it's going to be more about getting to see those guys and those guys getting to see me than it's going to be about that fight. You know, I can study fights online or, you know, on my laptop or whatnot. I'm more excited to, you know, I don't want to sound arrogant to say this. There's a lot of people from New Mexico who would probably love to see me in person. And I want to show up for them. And I want to stick around, do some meet and greets or whatever the UFC. It's been a long time since I've done one of the guest fighters for an event, and I want to be a guest fighter. That way I can meet as many people from New Mexico and let them know how much I love them.
Awesome. Last question for me. You sold out the Toyota Center. You set a record here. Before the fight on Media Day, you mentioned that, you know, if you would want to see how this fight went, and maybe that means that you should be fighting a little bit more outside of Vegas, maybe outside of the U.S. You mentioned Australia. What are some goals that you have after you see that, you know, that your ability to sell out these events?
Yeah, I don't have many goals right now when it comes to that side of things. I really couldn't control how many people showed up. I'm really grateful that so many people showed up. It's hard to really think for it right now, honestly. Yeah. All I'm thinking about is some food.
Okay, thanks.
Pizza. Oh, there's pizza back there?
There is some pizza back there.
Oh, it's cold? I'm cool with cold pizza. I grew up on cold pizza.
Hey, John, to your left over here.
Hey, man.
Congrats on the win. Dana was in here earlier, and he said that he feels like Dominic Reyes is the future of the division.
Dana said that?
He did.
Okay.
Just wanted to get your thoughts on that.
How old is Dominic?
30.
He's 30? I don't mind sharing my future with Dominic.
Do you think there will be a shared future? Do you think you'll see him again eventually?
Yeah, man. A lot of these guys are going to be around for a very long time. I don't think Dominic had any excuses for losing tonight. He lost. It was close, but they say close only counts on with handguns, what horseshoes and hand grenades, right? So he can try 1,000 times, and I believe I'll edge him every single time.
I don't know if you saw any of his quotes. He's pretty upset by the decision. He thinks he was disrespected by the judges. Any thoughts on that?
No, I don't think he was disrespected. I got takedowns. He got no takedowns. I got his back. At one point, I put a hook in. The 5th round, I was surprised on the output difference we had. I got to watch the fight, though. You know, I don't want to. It's hard to speak with confidence when I haven't watched the fight. So after I watch the fight, I'll give one of you guys a good interview, and I'll tell you how I felt, and I'll try to be as real as possible with you guys. Right now, I'm just kind of bullshitting, to be honest. John Morgan, you got it. I met your mom in the lobby. She was so sweet. I think she was hitting on me a little bit, too. I'm not going to lie. Oh, she likes the chocolate ones, huh? That's funny. She was so sweet. I'll give you that interview, John. I respect that go-getter attitude. Yep.
John, a couple more from me. A lot of people keep trying to push you to go to heavyweight, and I know you said earlier in the week that you know you're completely fine with staying at light heavyweight and defending your title as many times as it takes. Do you think tonight shows that maybe that cools the heavyweight talks a little bit? Maybe you'll stay here at 205 for a little bit.
Yeah, you know, at the end of the day, there's great challenges. I feel like as long as these guys are dreaming and they have aspirations to be the best in the world, I'll always have a job at light heavyweight. I can never think that I'm invincible. It's obvious that I'm not. And there's lots of work to be done. They say styles make matchups, and we saw that tonight. So there's lots of work to be done at light heavyweight.
Last thing for me, I know you don't want to answer questions about Israel Adesanya or fighting him, but he has a pretty hard fight, does he not, in a few weeks against your friend Yoel Romero. How do you see that fight going? Do you think he even gets by Romero?
I wish Yoel nothing but the best.
Okay. Thanks, John.
I'm just here so I don't get fined. Where's that pizza? Ow! Love you guys.